Hey friends, Allison here, dropping in to share with you some new creative inspiration for Scrapbook Nerd. Today I'm sharing with you a Traveler's Notebook spread. This is something different for me, something that I have been thinking about for a while, and I'm really excited to share this with you. I did design it first in Cricut Design Space, and there are some elements that are die cuts as well. The background on the left page that I'm working on right now is a Cricut die cut. I also cut this half circle from Cocoa Vanilla Sunkissed pattern paper as well. This is from the 6x8 paper pad. The sun is actually, it's a die cut as well, but it's actually from Photoplay's Tulla Norbert pattern paper, I believe. I'm not 100% on that, but I'm pretty sure. The clouds were die cut as well. I'm just adding those right now. I'm going to trim this one down a little bit because I don't want it to span both pages. And of course there is the crease there as well. I should have moved the images in just a little bit as well because the crease does pose a bit of a problem, but it's minor. Now I'm adding the title, which of course is die cut as well. I cut the word adventure, but then I'm going to throw in a mixture of stamping and also Jelly Bean Soup alphas to complete the title. The title is quite long in the end, so the entire title is going to be The Next Adventure Starts Now. I didn't have enough Jelly Bean alpha stickers to complete the subtitles, so I ended up pulling off the word the so that I had enough T's for starts. I didn't have 3 T's in the end. I had only 2, and I miscounted when I went through it the first time. So to rectify that, I pulled the word the off and stamped it instead. So I'm just using that right now. I'm just using ink that I had in my stash, as well as an alpha stamp set that was in my stash. I do have 2 photos that I'm adhering. They were printed at 2x2 inches. I'm just adhering that right now, and I'm just using my tape runner to adhere them to the page as well. I'm being really conscious of how much height I add to this spread because it's going in such a small book and I'm working on such a small canvas. I will not add foam squares or anything that is two-dimensional so that the book becomes overly chunky. I'd like to keep it relatively flat. My plan in the end when I do complete the book is either tying it closed somehow, I haven't figured that out yet, or putting it inside like a folio or Midori or something like that. I think those are the right terms. I'm totally new to Traveler's Notebooks. So this is a totally new adventure for me in more than one way. This spread is about the adventures my husband goes on in his job. This is sort of picking up where I left off in my regular scrapbooking as far as him being conditionally laid off and then rehired, and now what his job looks like in this new chapter of our lives, which is he travels a lot. He's away from home a lot more than he ever used to be, and he travels longer distances. So in this particular spread, he was actually sent up to Yellowknife, and he was sending me pictures as he traveled, so that I could scrapbook them, because I really don't have a lot of pictures of him or of things that he does because he is largely not a part of our everyday lives. So I thought this was perfect. If he keeps sending me pictures while he's out on the road, I can still include him in our stories and in my albums. I'm just adding a tab that I cut with my Cricut as well. It's going to have the date on it, and it's going on the right-hand side of the spread. And there's also going to be a little geotag, a sun, and a cloud that goes over on that side as well. I really like the idea of incorporating more storytelling in my layouts, and I thought, at least to get my toes wet, starting out with a traveler's notebook was the ideal way to do that. I am a natural writer. I've always enjoyed writing, and so I feel like journaling should be just a natural part of my memory keeping as well. But I find it a struggle in 12 by 12 layouts. I feel like, for me at least, 12 by 12 layouts are more about the creative process and not so much about the story behind the photos. And I don't leave myself enough room to really tell the story. Whereas in this way, I feel like I can balance that a little bit better between the artwork and the storytelling. I wrote my story out on my printer and then printed it out. So it's just regular printer paper that my journaling is on. And I glued that to white cardstock that was trimmed down a little bit smaller than this traveler's notebook size, which, by the way, is 8 1/4 by 4 1/4. So the white piece of paper the journaling is on is actually 8 by 4 inches. And then I glued that to a blue background, which came from the 12 by 12 paper pad by Cocoa Vanilla. Here is my close-ups. Thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this. I'll be back again soon.